Imagine, what's so deep beneath the ground of Oak Island that every time they dig, something strange, something dangerous, and something completely unexpected comes up. Sometimes the team went so deep that even Rick Lagina was startled by the sounds coming from below. Beneath the soil isn't just wood and stone. Something lies hidden there, waiting for someone for hundreds of years. Each time they dug deeper, the cameras captured something that defied science or logic. Sometimes they found old chains, sometimes mysterious wooden beams, sometimes a closed room. No air was flowing through it. And yes, once their machine shut down on its own, as if someone had blocked it from below. In this video, you'll see 7 times the Oak Island team made the mistake of going a little deeper. And each time, they found something beyond their imagination. Is it ancient treasure? An ancient trap? Or something that humans should never have touched? The answer lies beneath. But the question remains, how deep is it safe to go? The mystery of Oak Island, a glimpse. Friends, if any place in history has generated the most mystery and fascination, it's Oak Island. This small piece of land, located in Nova Scotia, Canada, has been attracting people for the past 200 years. It seems as if this piece of land isn't just soil, but the guardian of an ancient secret. In 1795, some young people noticed a strange depression in the ground, as if someone had buried something long ago. And then, this is where the story of the Money Pit began, and it remains unsolved to this day. Many believe that pirates, perhaps Captain Kidd or Blackbeard, hid their treasure here. Some say it's not treasure, but ancient technology buried by a civilization hundreds of years ago. And some theories are so crazy that people link it to the Templar treasure. But everyone agrees on one thing: there's something unusual about Oak Island. There, behind every excavation, every machine, every effort, lies a combination of fear and hope. Treasure hunters like Rick and Marty Lagina vowed to solve this mystery. They spent millions of dollars, introduced new technologies, sonar scans, muon detectors, boreholes, and tried every method. But every time they reached the bottom, they found something different than expected. Sometimes layers of wood, sometimes stones, sometimes pieces of old metal. It seemed as if something was preventing them from reaching the real truth. With each season, with each new excavation, the place becomes more and more complex. Oak Island itself seems to say, the price of reaching the truth is too high. The layers of this mystery are so deep that no one knows what lies beneath. Gold, mysterious relics, or a truth that will shake humanity. The first excavation, when the water bursts. In 1795, 3 boys, Daniel McGinnis, John Smith, and Anthony Vaughan, were wandering on Oak Island. They noticed a round depression in the ground, as if someone had dug a hole there and then covered it up. A rope hung from a nearby tree branch, as if someone had lowered something there first. Curiosity piqued, and they began digging. A few feet below, they found the first layer of wood, perfectly straight, as if someone had deliberately placed it there. They removed the wood and continued digging. Every 10 feet, the same layer of wood. Now the matter became mysterious. The 3 boys began wondering, was there treasure beneath, or a secret tunnel? They spread the word in the village, and within a few weeks, people gathered. The digging deepened, reaching 90 feet. Then something happened that shocked everyone. As they removed the next layer of wood, a strong gush of water suddenly surged up from below. Within minutes, the entire pit was filled with water. It seemed as if someone had set a trap, which, when disturbed, would become a flood. At that time, no one understood how this happened. But even today, scientists say it wasn't a natural spring, but an underground flood system, as if someone had created it centuries ago to prevent anyone from reaching the bottom. The water was so strong that all equipment sank, and digging stopped. People tried to drain the water, but the more they extracted, the more it increased. This incident made Oak Island the cursed treasure pit. People began saying that the day someone fully opened this pit, something big would happen, both good and bad. And this began the 200-year-long search, which continues to this day. Oak Island had given its first warning. Don't go too deep. Below is not just mud. There is something alive. Second excavation. Mysterious wood and stone layers. After the first excavation of Oak Island was stopped by a powerful current of water, people thought the mystery was buried forever. But human curiosity doesn't give up so easily. A few years later, a new team arrived, with more resources and better tools. They decided to reach the bottom no matter what. The excavation began, and just a few feet below, they encountered the same scene. Layers of wood laid in perfect alignment. It seemed as if someone had precisely built each layer, one after another. The same pattern repeated every 10 feet. Wood, soil, then stone, then wood again. No natural formation could have such symmetry. Seeing this, everyone wondered, who and why would have so painstakingly created these layers? Some suggested it might be a trap to hide treasure, while others suggested it might be the engineering of an ancient civilization. As the excavation progressed, the suspense deepened. When they reached about 60 feet down, they found a layer of solid stone, like a wall. Between these layers were carved some strange markings, an ancient symbol, an ancient language, or simply decoration. No one knew. But everyone clearly saw that this wasn't natural. It was as if someone was saying, "Stop here, don't go down." But the team didn't stop. They tried to break the stones and descend further, but each time a new layer of wood would appear. Some suggested that these layers were built to hold back water, so that if someone reached too deep, a trap would open. Thinking this, some workers abandoned the excavation. But those who remained could only see one thing: the mystery hidden beneath. The third excavation: chains, metal, and strange objects. A few years later, another team reached Oak Island. This time they had better equipment and were determined to reach the real treasure no matter what. Excavation began, and a new shaft was built near the old pit to avoid the previous water trap. As they delved deeper, they discovered small, glistening metallic fragments in the soil. Some suggested they were old nails, others symbols of ancient metal. But when they pulled out a larger piece, everyone was stunned. It was an old iron chain, stuck in a rock. Its design was so unique that it didn't match modern chains at all. The metal had darkened, but its design appeared highly advanced, as if it had been created with great care by a skilled craftsman. Nearby, they found metallic parts that resembled ancient gears or joints. This is where theories began. Could Oak Island hide not just treasure, but some ancient machine or mechanism? Some historians suggested it might be part of a secret vault, a system that automatically activated the trap. Some claimed it was part of a self-flooding defense system, highly advanced for its time. And others called it ancient technology, from a civilization far beyond today's understanding. But the most frightening thing happened when a crew member picked up a metallic ring. It was so cold, it felt cold even through gloves. As soon as he lifted it, the machines suddenly short-circuited. The excavation stopped for a few minutes. Everyone thought it was a coincidence, but Rick said, "Every time we dig something up, something goes wrong." That day, Oak Island raised another question. Was there a treasure hidden beneath? Or something that doesn't want anyone to find it? These pieces of chains and metal perhaps told a story that remains unfinished. Fourth excavation. When the scanner revealed the room. Several excavations had been conducted on Oak Island, but the real mystery still lay buried beneath the ground. This time, the team decided to investigate without causing too much damage using new technology. They used a sonar scanner and ground-penetrating radar to scan the site throughout the night. Initially, the screen showed only soil and rocks, but after a while, a strange shape appeared on the monitor. A void in the soil, perfectly square in shape. Everyone thought this could be the place where the treasure, buried for centuries, lay. The next day, the excavation began. As the depth increased, the color of the soil changed, and an iron-like layer was revealed. It looked as if someone had built a lid or door underneath. When that layer was carefully removed, a blast of cold air emerged from beneath. Together, they inserted a small camera into the hole to see what lay beneath. What appeared on the camera screen stunned everyone for a moment. A small, dark room appeared below. The walls were covered in clay, and a metallic gleam shone on them. A wooden chest sat in the center of the room, carved with strange symbols. When the camera was moved a little further, some circular and triangular symbols appeared on the walls, as if part of an ancient language. Rick softly said, "This isn't treasure. It's something else." Everyone's faces reflected fear and surprise. As the camera went deeper, the screen suddenly went black. A strange static sound was heard for a few seconds. Then, the camera stopped working. When it was pulled out, a faint smell of burnt metal emanated from it. No one could understand why. That day, Oak Island once again reminded everyone that whatever was buried there was probably not meant for human viewing. Fifth excavation. Sounds and the blackout moment. The Oak Island team was now more serious than ever. They knew that what the previous scans had revealed was unusual. Yet, they continued digging. It was nighttime, the air was cool, and the sky was lightly foggy. The machines were running slowly when suddenly some noises began to come from underground. Initially, everyone thought it was the machine's vibrations, but even after the machines were turned off, the same knocking sound continued. Rick bent down and listened. The noises followed a pattern, as if someone was trying to convey a message. Knock, 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 knock. The entire camp fell silent for a moment. Then, a strange humming sound came, and suddenly, all the lights went out. The entire site was plunged into darkness. Everyone took out their flashlights, but even the generator wasn't working. A strange sense of dread pervaded the atmosphere. After about 5 minutes, the power came back on. Everyone immediately checked the cameras and recording systems, but the footage had disappeared for the entire minute the blackout lasted. The memory card only recorded a black screen and occasional faint metallic sounds, as if someone was whispering. Rick, after watching the footage, simply said, "Something's alive down there." No one said anything after that. No one dared to continue digging that night. Some workers decided to leave the site, while others simply sat quietly. The next morning, when everyone looked at the excavation site, the soil had bulged upward, as if something had pushed from within. No one knew if it was an optical illusion or if something had really moved underneath. But one thing was clear. Oak Island was no longer just an excavation, but a battleground of fear and mystery. Sixth excavation. Blocked path and jammed machines. Until now, every excavation at Oak Island had brought a new challenge, but this time the team was more prepared. They had installed new high-power drilling rigs, sensors, and ground scanners to avoid the same technical problems as before. Initially, everything went well. The soil was extracted easily, and the readings were normal. But as the depth increased, the pressure on the machines began to increase. Reaching approximately 120 feet, the sensors suddenly issued a warning. Temperature rising. No one could understand what was causing the heat to rise so rapidly. The team stopped the machines, activated the cooling system, and then resumed digging. But this time, something even more strange happened. The drilling bit stopped mid-air, as if it had struck something extremely hard. Everyone thought it might be a rock, but when it was pulled out, fine metal particles were stuck to the bit. This changed everyone's faces, as metal was unusual at that depth. Rick said, "Maybe we've hit some ancient structure." The machine was sent down again, but after a few seconds the entire rig system shut down. The power supply was fine, yet the motor stopped working. Sensors simultaneously warned of overheating and magnetic interference. It seemed as if there was a magnetic field below, disabling the machines. Technicians checked the equipment and found no fault, but as soon as they resumed drilling, all the lights flickered, and sparks came from the generator. The excavation was then halted. Some workers believed there was a metallic vault below, trapping magnetic energy. Others suggested perhaps a natural gas pocket was affecting the machines. But Rick remained silent. He looked at the ground and said softly, "This place itself is telling us to stop." No one started the machine again that night. Oak Island had once again reached a point where logic ends and mystery begins. Seventh excavation, the biggest shocker moment. Several months later, the team tried again. They created new safety protocols and began digging from a different angle to avoid magnetic interference. After weeks of hard work, the drilling rod finally passed through a hollow space. The readings clearly indicated a metallic chamber beneath. Everyone's faces returned to the excitement they had felt during the first excavation years earlier. Cameras were prepared, sensors were installed, and the most important day of the excavation began. As the soil was slowly removed, a metallic surface began to appear beneath. The shine was faint, but clear. It looked like the roof of a large circular structure. The workers cleared the area around it and discovered it was a perfect dome shape, as if deliberately designed. They struck it lightly with a hammer, and a resonating sound came from within. This meant there was empty space inside. Now everyone knew they had discovered something significant. Rick said softly, "If this is a chamber, there must be something special inside." They inserted the small camera through the hole. The screen showed a round metallic chamber with something shiny in the center. It looked like a large rock, but its surface emitted a faint blue light, as if it were emitting energy itself. The sight of this cast a strange silence over the atmosphere. When an attempt was made to open the chamber, a static charge was suddenly felt in the air. People's hair stood on end, and a faint metallic smell filled the air. Machines began flickering again, and the camera feed was repeatedly disrupted. As soon as the lid was removed, there was a sharp jolt, and the generator shut down automatically. There was silence for a few seconds. Then a strange, cold air slowly gushed out of the chamber. What the team witnessed has never been reported to anyone. Part of the footage is blurred, and some of the workers present that day left the Oak Island project forever. Rick simply said, "What we saw was probably out of this world." And with that, the excavation was halted. That day, Oak Island revealed its greatest secret. But perhaps that was the moment everyone understood. Some treasures are not meant to be seen. The team's condition and the impact of fear. The excavation at Oak Island had become more of a mental test than an exciting discovery. Every time the team thought they were close to the truth, something would happen that would shake everyone. Machines shutting down on their own, cameras glitching, and strange noises coming from underground. These had become routine. But every time something strange happened, the team's fear grew. Some would joke that the island itself is alive, but often even that joke turned into fear. One night, a cold wind suddenly blew over the excavation site, even though the weather had been calm. Cameras began to turn on and off by themselves. At that moment, some workers clearly noticed that the excavation light near the soil was moving on its own, as if someone had touched it. This stunned everyone. The next day, 2 workers quit, saying they wouldn't return. "There's nothing good here." Rick tried to reason with them, but the fear in their eyes wasn't caused by any human. The rest of the team was now divided. Some still considered it a mysterious scientific discovery, while others were convinced that the place was truly connected to a curse. Sometimes, in the stillness of the night, members of the team claimed to have seen someone moving, a shadow-like figure moving near the crater. Even after installing cameras, the shadow was never recorded. But everyone was convinced it was there. Many experts also said that the atmosphere on Oak Island is like a psychological pressure zone. The constant pressure, darkness, and loss of hope all play tricks on the human mind. Some workers even believed that something beneath was trying to keep people away. Gradually, the team's morale began to wane. Rick simply said in a meeting, "Maybe this isn't a curse, it's a warning." And at that moment, everyone understood that fear had settled within them. Local legends and warnings. Oak Island has always been a home to mysteries and stories. Ever since the first excavations took place there in the 1700s, the locals have been told the same thing. Every time someone goes too deep, something bad happens. This no longer seemed like a myth, but had become reality for the team. The village elders said that something was buried here centuries ago that needed to be kept hidden from the world. Some stories suggest that the island was once part of an ancient civilization that locked away something powerful here. Some say that pirates imprisoned an evil along with the treasure, so that no one else could touch it. And whenever someone gets close to that evil, something terrible happens. Many locals have seen strange lights here. Some have seen smoke-like figures floating in the air for no reason. An elderly fisherman told Rick, "This place is not for treasure, it's for punishment. Whoever disturbs it will have no peace." Rick initially ignored it, but when a worker had an accident during the excavation and the equipment broke down, he remembered that line again. Gradually, word spread among the team that Oak Island's curse was true. The old saying goes, "Oak Island will take 7 lives before its secrets are revealed." And so far, 6 people had lost their lives in the search. Whenever a new worker joined the team, locals would warn them of this. Some considered it a coincidence, but for those who had lived there longer, it was no longer a joke. With each new excavation, the island seemed to send a new warning, sometimes by cutting off power, sometimes by sounds, sometimes by mysterious vibrations in the air. Rick and his team were now at a juncture where every step was a crossroads of fear and curiosity. They realized that Oak Island's secret lay not only in the ground, but also in its environment. This place doesn't speak, but it always warns in some way. Don't go too deep. What lies below is not made for you. Opinions of scientists and experts. The excavation at Oak Island was as mysterious as it was puzzling for scientists. Whenever something strange happened, experts tried to explain it, but each time a new question arose. Some geologists suggested that it was the result of a natural sinkhole. According to them, the island's soil contains layers of limestone and clay, which sink over time and create voids. The hollow spaces in which sonar revealed room-like structures may have been created by these. But the question remained, how did layers of wood and stone appear every 10 feet? Could nature create such precise symmetry? Another argument was made about gas pockets. Some scientists believed that bubbles of methane or natural gas might be trapped underground, escaping during excavation. This could cause water flow, air pressure, and electrical disturbances. But if it was just gas, why were the machines repeatedly displaying magnetic interference? No one had an answer. A third theory emerged regarding booby traps. Some historians and engineers believed that someone might have created a complex trap system centuries ago to protect the treasure. They also suggested that when water flowed into the first excavation, it might have been a flood tunnel, deliberately designed to flood the excavation if someone reached the bottom. Many agreed, but then someone asked, who could have created such advanced engineering in such ancient times? This question remains unanswered. Some modern researchers suggest that the metallic readings and heat signals at Oak Island could be caused by magnetic minerals, such as magnetite or pyrite. But the repeated appearance of the same readings only at certain spots, and the cameras being turned off at those times, raises further doubts. It often seemed as if every scientific argument faced a mysterious obstacle. Rick himself said, "Science can't explain everything. Some places simply defy logic." Treasure or warning? Two perspectives. What has been discovered so far on Oak Island has sparked two schools of thought. On one side are those who believe that there's a real treasure hidden beneath, perhaps gold, jewelry, or the legacy of ancient civilizations. On the other side are those who say it's not treasure, but a warning from an ancient civilization. They buried something there that humans shouldn't touch. Treasure believers say that all this effort and technology must have been put into hiding something. Old documents mention pirates' gold, secrets of the Knights Templar, and some historical maps also point to the site. They believe all this evidence suggests that someone hid their wealth or a sacred object on Oak Island. Rick and his team initially believed the same thing, that there was something beneath that could change history. But then, when cameras revealed strange symbols, static energy, and metallic chambers, that thought shifted. Some researchers have suggested it might be an energy source, or an object that emits radiation, or a magnetic field. Some have even called it alien technology. Still others suggest it's a sealed warning chamber, where someone imprisoned some power or danger thousands of years ago, to prevent it from being accidentally unleashed in the future. The question now is, if this is indeed a treasure, why hasn't anyone unearthed it yet? And if it's a warning, has humanity crossed a line where it shouldn't have? Rick himself has said on camera several times, sometimes what we consider a treasure may actually be a trap. Excavation at Oak Island continues today, but every time a new clue is discovered, excitement is mixed with a touch of fear. It's as if the place itself is saying, if you've come so close to the truth, tread carefully, because what lies beneath may not be meant for human understanding. A recap of the evidence. So far, and a new hint. This trip to Oak Island has truly been a frenzied quest. Looking back, each excavation has revealed something truly out of a movie. The first time water surged from the pit, everyone thought it was just an accident, but the same trap system kept resurfacing in each subsequent excavation. The second uncovered layers of wood and stone, so precisely crafted that it seemed impossible to create them without the aid of machinery. The third excavation uncovered chains, old metal fragments, and mysterious gear-like parts, all pointing to an ancient machine. Then, the room, revealed in the sonar scan, shook the entire team. The subsequent excavation, accompanied by a blackout, shattered everyone's confidence. The noises, machines shutting down, and soil moving on their own. The sixth excavation only worsened the situation. Overheating, magnetic fields, and jammed machines. And finally, the discovery of a metallic chamber was the biggest shock of all. The strange, glowing object inside, the static charge in the air, and the generator suddenly shutting down. At that moment, everyone thought Oak Island had reached its limit. But the story didn't end there. Rick and his team still believe there's something left undiscovered. Recent scans have revealed a new hollow space, deeper and larger than before. Readings indicate a heavy metallic object is present. Rick's voice returns with the same passion. "We'll go down again, but this time with even more caution." Oak Island is calling them again, and this time the mystery seems even deeper. The story of Oak Island is no longer just a treasure hunt. It has become a symbol of the limits of human curiosity and fear. Every time someone has tried to go down, the ground has responded, sometimes in the form of water, sometimes in sounds, and sometimes in silence. But, despite every obstacle, Rick Lagina and his team return, as if some invisible force is calling them. Perhaps this is the truth of that place. Oak Island has called again, but next time, no one may return. If you believe the real treasure still lies beneath, be sure to leave your theory in the comments. Even if you think this is an ancient warning, let us know what you think. Like the video, share it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Because the next excavation of Oak Island may reveal secrets that have been hidden from history books for centuries. What is found next time could change everything.